As a general rule, you probably shouldn't trade away one of the best players in football. I think that's fair to say just in a vacuum, but obviously it is never that simple. Tyreek Hill's getting paid a lot of money, and they did get draft capital back. So I wanted to, in this video, kind of really talk through the logic and sort of the pros and the cons. First, let's go right here to team cap space, where it's 25 million. Now, cap space isn't even the best way to view how much a team can really spend, but still, even just looking at that, you can see that, okay, they could go out and spend some money. They could, spend a Tyreek Hill contract if they wanted to. In terms of actual cash spent, they're currently about 28 million under the salary cap, and teams typically go over the salary cap in terms of actual cash spent. 30 teams last year spent over the salary cap. So the idea that they couldn't afford Tyreek Hill isn't necessarily true. They could have afforded Tyreek Hill, but if they sign Tyreek Hill, there's only so much else you can do. Just because the salary cap doesn't matter definitely does not mean that actual contracts do not matter. And, one way to think about this is kind of like Orlando Brown and Marquez Valdes-Scantling. They were also able to re-sign because they got rid of Tyreek Hill on top of the draft capital that they acquired. So that's at least the argument in favor of trading Tyreek Hill. Also, Patrick Mahomes' numbers himself. Patrick Mahomes, this is using StatMoose is what I believe how you pronounce that. That's what I'm using here. Patrick Mahomes has a passer rating of 103 without Tyreek Hill, and you can see the individual numbers as well. Passer rating of 103, that's a good passer rating. I mean, that's something that can get you to be a fringe MVP candidate, or at least an MVP candidate, if you have that throughout the course of a season. Now, worth mentioning, Patrick Mahomes' career passer rating is better than that. His career passer rating is 105.8. That's just because of how crazy he is. So his numbers do go down, but barely, and they're still really good numbers without Tyreek Hill. So that's what the numbers say. Let's get into the film. First, let's talk about a play like this. And this is this is kind of what I thought of when I was thinking about for Tyreek Hill. Why maybe you might make this move. The first thing I thought of, honestly, which might seem crazy, is there might be a bit of a game theory aspect here. The Philadelphia Eagles on this play are running a cover 3 zone, and you see Tyreek Hill's route on the screen. This is kind of your typical wide receiver 1 route. This is what you want your wide receiver to win at, where it's going to be a one-on-one matchup against a corner, and basically, you just hope that he can win. There's only a single safety deep, so towards the sideline, there could be an area where Hill can get open. As you see, Tyreek Hill is going to basically just, at the beginning of this play, not even really get wide open immediately, but with a clean release, you just know he can blow by whoever he's going up against. You just know that that's going to happen, and Mahomes isn't even thinking about this, really. He's saying, okay, one-on-one with Tyreek Hill, I'm going to throw it. And as you see, Mahomes does make a good throw, and Hill is able to make the grab. And quite frankly, Hill is so good at this, and the Mahomes to Hill connection here was so great, teams just straight up stopped doing this. A classic example was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who, the first time they played the Kansas City Chiefs, they said, okay, we have a good corner in Carlton Davis. Let's put him one-on-one on Tyreek Hill, and it didn't work out too well. Hill had over 200 yards in the first quarter of that game, so they stopped doing that. Then, even going over here, we'll use this play as an example of what happened in the Super Bowl. On this play, it's really going to be those two players you're going to mostly want to pay attention to, and a big reason for this is because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have 2 safeties deep on this play. So if Hill is running that route that I just showed you, well, now a safety can get over the top and he can at least deflect the ball away, so you can't really do that the way you could with a single safety deep. So what does this mean? Well, the running game can be better, and that's why we did see the Chiefs actually have a decent running game when they ran the ball last year. But also, these little underneath things, these, methodical plays possession plays can really work to your benefit and can get open a lot easier. However, on this play, you see that immediately Mahomes looks downfield and nothing is open to where he wanted to throw to. Now, Mahomes is usually great at getting outside the pocket and still making stuff happen. The issue was there was a blown assignment, which allowed Shaq Barrett to get right in Mahomes' face immediately, so that also does not help. Mahomes just throws it away, does the right thing on that play, but that's a good example of really just they weren't that good at that stuff, at the advantage that you get of knowing how teams are probably going to play against you. For most teams, that's a huge benefit. I mean, that's kind of what you hope for, is getting a guy like Tyreek Hill, which can force teams into having to play a certain coverage, which can open up stuff to do other things. The issue is the Chiefs just weren't that consistently good at doing those other things. They did at times, just not consistently. So then I went back, and we're going back a few years now, because Tyreek Hill has played every game the past couple of years, but 3 years ago, when Hill did miss a 4-game stretch, I went back and watched some of those games, and listen, this is the Matt Patricia Lions defense. So sitting here and saying, oh, well, see, they did well against Matt Patricia's defense, that's not really fair, right? Everyone does well against that defense. Everyone did well against that defense. However, it's a good example, I think, of explaining the logic. I keep going back to the logic of this idea, where it's a cover 1 blitz on this play, and now it is not Tyreek Hill, because Tyreek Hill is not in the game. This is Sammy Watkins running a route over the middle, and these are the things that Mahomes is also very good at. As you see, right when this play begins, what you're going to notice is that right here, you have a window to make this throw. So this might actually be somewhat of the logic, is getting several receivers who can just do good enough. Mahomes makes this throw and you're able to hit him, and maybe to some degree, at least in part of the logic is Mahomes will get more of these cover 1 looks now that Hill is gone. Now, I don't know if that'll happen. I have no reason to believe that teams will just stop playing Mahomes cover 2. If I was game planning against Mahomes, I'm still playing cover 2. At least I'm starting off that way. And I'm certain some teams will try it. I feel pretty confident some teams will say, you know what, now that there's not Tyreek Hill to worry about, we trust our players can man up against the Chiefs receivers, and maybe that'll be a bad thing because of Patrick Mahomes. The reality is, obviously, an offense is going to be better with Tyreek Hill, but will an offense be better with Tyreek Hill versus, and no one else really other than Kelsey, or would it be better with having, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, and maybe you draft a receiver and you can get like a complete receiving core, even if you don't have the great number 1? That's the logic. To me personally, I keep Tyreek Hill. I just think Tyreek Hill, he's a special talent. He's only 28, and he just turned 28, so he's still relatively young. You could sit here and argue, well, he gets so much of his value from his speed, that could drop off, but I think he's still really valuable even without that. I think you got at least multiple years of Tyreek Hill, probably around like 4 or 5 years of good Tyreek Hill play. It's what I would assume, and so I take that, and I run with that until the brakes fall off, and then I have a rebuilding-ish year later. This does feel like a move that isn't going to help you in the short term, but it could help you in the long term. You're getting 5 players back. You're getting 5 picks for Hill. So that's the flip side. And the Chiefs are a team who have some holes in their roster. So being able to fill up those holes, again, that's the logic behind it. I get the logic behind it, and I don't think it's the worst move in the world. I just wouldn't have done it. I would have kept Tyreek Hill. That's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. What are your thoughts on all of this? Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.